I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. There's some vague evidence for self-consciousness of lower sorts in animals. It's not very compelling. Some of them can recognize themselves in a mirror, but our self-consciousness is accompanied by elaborated imagistic and linguistic models of ourselves.
Yesterday evening, the Francis Crick Memorial Conference on Consciousness in Human, Non-Human Animals gathered in this very room and did something unprecedented based on the observations that had been made at the conference. They decided that not only was it appropriate to publicly challenge this false assertion that humans were only conscious beings, but they also decided to put the pen to the paper and sign this declaration and give it their full support. Stephen Hawking couldn't sign it, obviously, but he had a lady there who worked with him who signed it on his behalf. All right, everybody say brain. Yeah, this is where it took place. If we broaden our minds and our horizons a little bit by accepting the statement that was made yesterday, and again, it is a data-driven statement, by rebuking some of the assumptions that were made, we are going to be able to now accelerate the path of discovery, because now we will be able to really study it in different systems in ways that weren't done before.
You're on this carnivore diet
Yes.
now because
Okay.
you had a
Yes.
30-ounce steak last night.
Yes. I'm
Yeah,
doing
as
my
did
best
I.
not to be hungry.
Although it didn't look like it was 30
No.
ounces.
It's a small 30-ounce steak.
Well, I think it starts out 30 ounces before they cook it.
Right.
And it loses a considerable amount of volume. It's very fatty.
Right.
But that's the other thing, too. You must have to get a lot of fat.
Yeah. Well, I eat fatty cuts of steak, and
Yeah.
Michaela is buying fat directly from the butcher store, and we cook that up, cut it into small pieces, and fry it up till it's crispy.
Wow.
It's actually quite delicious. I was really having a bitch of a time regulating my mood, and I was having sporadic, really negative reactions to food. When I ate something I shouldn't. So that took about 1.5 years to clear up, and I was still really anxious in the morning up to 3 months ago, like horribly, and then it would get better all day. People said, well, you're under a lot of stress, and I thought, yeah, I've been under a lot of stress for like 10 years. It's like, it's a lot, but it wasn't any more stressful than helping my daughter deal with her illness, that's for sure. That, no, this is something different. And she said to me, quit eating greens. And I thought, oh, really? Jesus, Michaela, I'm eating cucumbers, lettuce, broccoli, and chicken and beef. It's like I have to cut out the goddamn greens? It's like, try it for a month. Okay. Within a week, I was 25% less anxious in the morning. Within 2 weeks, 75%, and I've been better every single day. I'm better now probably than I've ever been in my life, and I haven't been taking antidepressants for a whole year.
Well, the thing is, plants have many compounds in them, and many of these compounds work with the gut flora together in some sort of feedback loop. So if you've got an unhealthy gut flora, then you might not be able to digest some of these plant compounds. And what can actually happen is, because this is some sort of feedback loop going round and round and round, if your gut flora is unhealthy, it might spiral out of control and get more and more unhealthy and result in creating an inflammatory response. So you actually get ill when you eat healthy plant foods. This is an actual real common thing that does happen a lot of the time. People are eating like the healthiest foods like broccoli and spinach, and they're getting ill because they're getting weird inflammatory responses. One of these responses is a histamine response, and as I said previously, it can affect the nervous system, and this can make people spiral into states of anxiety and depression because they're no longer getting an inflammatory response because of their out of whack gut flora not being able to process the plant compounds correctly. So it's a miracle. They're healed. All of a sudden, they're better. They no longer feel bad. But let's go back to this and just think about that for a second. If you, instead of correcting your gut flora, simply stop eating plant foods altogether, do you think that's going to heal your gut flora or make it spiral out of control and get worse? Well, obviously it's going to get worse because you're going to replace all your gut flora with weird bacteria, which is just going to be worse in the long term. So this carnivore diet is a short-term fix which masks the symptoms. It's not a cure, it's just masking the symptoms because you're avoiding the plant foods which you can no longer temporarily digest properly and is causing an inflammatory response because your gut bacteria is out of whack. If you simply just correct your gut bacteria, then you'll be able to digest those plant foods again, and you won't have to just stop eating all plant foods. So it's a short-term fix, and you're going to mess up your gut flora even worse by doing that. Remember this slide here, everything just spiraling out of control. And
I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Okay, this is all a mystery to me.
And if you just stick with a carnivore diet and never go back to eating plants, then you're opening yourself up to getting cancer, heart disease, and a whole host of horrible, debilitating diseases.
Oh, God.
Nobody fucks with the Jesus.